I think that some of the rhetoric I heard over the weekend felt very much like 2017, and a lot of misinformation. In my opinion, with malintent. Like, it wasn't accidental misinformation. It's actually, highlighting fake sources and just having this very zero sum game attitude. I grew up professionally in Silicon Valley, and I think Silicon Valley more than any other place was about, how do we expand the pie.
Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and that, of course, is the CEO of the company Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse. Today, he was speaking in the XRP Community Day Live X Space. How many of you were here in 2017? That is when I decided to become a content creator, and in 2018, yes, I was full-time fighting the Bitcoin and Ethereum maxis. The FUD was thick. It really was. And during the lawsuit, well, that rhetoric coupled with lies that Brad Garlinghouse mentions slowed down quite a bit, which gave me a bit more time to focus on the builders that were coming to the XRP ledger. And that has provided me a lot of focus over the past few years. Mr. Garlinghouse owns XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, along with a handful of others. And at the end of his post today, he says that maximalism remains the enemy of crypto progress. But he is very glad to see fewer and fewer folks ascribe to the outdated and misinformed thinking. I agree. It is less, but boy, was it intense over the weekend. And now I've got a clip for you. This is Senator Lummis of Wyoming. Now, I've accused her more than once of being a Bitcoin maxi. And I think I have really nailed it. She does deserve credit for bringing a lot of the people in Congress over to being open to crypto. But when she talks about a strategic reserve, you'll notice that she is not citing any other asset other than Bitcoin. So we're going to have to see where this goes. And who knows, it might even be RLUSD. I'm not sure if a lot of people out there are thinking about that, but I'm not going to be too surprised if RLUSD, the stablecoin by Ripple, is one of those digital assets. I know a lot of Bitcoin maxis are thinking that XRP is their enemy because they do conflate the company Ripple and the digital asset XRP. But hey, I really just think there's going to be a basket of assets. And let's just hope Senator Lummis becomes a little bit more wider in her thought process and starts to talk about other assets instead of just always focusing on Bitcoin. All right, here you go.
So why Bitcoin would make sense as part of our strategic reserves is that we recognize other long-term stores of value and put them in strategic reserve. We have a gold strategic reserve. We have an oil strategic reserve. I think it is fitting that Bitcoin, now that is really digital gold, be included among our reserve assets. So I'm proposing in the Bitcoin Act that we purchase roughly 200,000 Bitcoin a year just by converting money we already have into Bitcoin and hold them for 20 years. If we did that with, say, 5% of all the Bitcoin that will ever exist, which is roughly 1 million Bitcoin, we could cut our debt in half in 20 years. And in the meantime, we would have an asset that's growing in value while our own dollar is decreasing in value, and thereby we could shore up the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. What that does is help us protect ourselves against inflation and protect the US dollar on the world stage.
In a few hours, I'll be with David Schwartz for the closing of the XRP Community Day event. And yeah, we're really having so many great speakers. I just finished listening to Stu Alderati, and I just can't wait to clip up a little bit of his. He gave a huge shout out to Jeremy Hogan, James Filan, John Deaton for the work that they did and keeping the community together and informed. That was really great to hear that shout out. And when you tune in to David and myself, you're going to hear nearly 15 topics discussed. Well, that's if we can get through everything in 45 minutes. I don't know, but I'm going to give it my best shot. One of the big topics that we're going to discuss is the survey results on what virtual machine, that is a VM, that we need for smart contracts on the XRPL mainnet. Now I'm talking about what Ripple has looked at and what they recommend. You can see that they wanted something that was permissionless, something that meshes well with the XRP ledger, and something that is easy learning for new developers. They looked at hooks, they looked at Stellar's Sotoban, EVM, Solana, Move, which is a language used by Aptos and Sui, Ton, Near, BitVM, RISCV, and some other layer 2 sidechains. So yes, I think you're going to be surprised that it went down to just 3 different selections. It was WASM, which is WebAssembly, along with the Move virtual machine. That's the one used by Sui and Aptos, and the Ethereum virtual machine, or what is often called EVM. So their phase 2 conclusions is they propose that the VM choice for the XRPL programmability is based on WASM. And my co-founder, Moonchaser, will open up the APAC region XRP Community Day with Monica Long. Can't wait for that. So we start in this part of the world in just a couple of hours. I do want to talk about this institutional reach with the OUSG deployment on the XRP ledger brought to us by Ondo Finance. But first, let's look at what is going on with the SEC taking Ripple off their litigations page. There was a lot of speculation because it was removed that maybe a settlement had come to fruition. Ripple Van Winkle said that Stu Alderati just confirmed his belief is that the SEC will voluntarily withdraw the lawsuit at some point in 2025. He also said that the lawsuit would no longer be a distraction, aka we won, boys. Well, this is confirming that it's still on, but he does believe it will end soon. And back to Ondo Finance, coming to the XRP ledger are short-term U.S. Treasuries and money market funds with stablecoins. It is OUSG, and it'll pay currently a 4.16 APY. The fund administrator custodian is BNY Mellon. The fund manager is BlackRock. The transfer agent is Securitize, and the auditor is PricewaterhouseCoopers. This is going to provide a dollar yield. It'll also function for cash management, settlement, liquidity, and collateral. Yeah, it's a big one. It won't be available in the US out the gate, but this is a big institutional DeFi coming to the ledger. We're going to talk a lot about it with David Schwartz. And now for that clip with Stu Alderati, the chief legal officer of the company Ripple, where he is talking about, well, just have a listen. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.
Do you think the efforts of the XRP family and their voice on X helped the cause at all during the lawsuit?
Absolutely, it helped. I think the sentiments of the XRP army, they do seep out into the ether, if you excuse the expression. They did, I think, educate certainly those who were paying attention as to who was really being victimized by the SEC's actions. You weren't being protected by the SEC. You were being harmed by the SEC. We already talked about some specific voices. Jim Filan was great. Things were happening fast and furious, and Jim was always on top of the docket. Jeremy Hogan's videos were super educational for me. I would look forward to them just as much as the community would look forward to them. You've got to realize that my team and we were living and breathing this. When a brief got filed, we lived with that thing for 60 days, down to, every comma and every semicolon and, every word choice, to the point where we were so close to it, do you really even see the forest through the trees? So I look forward to Jeremy's videos, because I think he really broke it down in ways that make sense. And I think Jeremy is a super brilliant lawyer. And of course, the efforts of John Deaton. John Deaton filing an amici brief with the court on behalf of 6 individual XRP holders educated the court, and he was able to use that amici brief as an opportunity to submit thousands of affidavits from XRP holders explaining to the court why they bought XRP, and maybe more importantly, the reasons that they didn't rely on in buying XRP. So I think all of that coming together was not only super helpful from a substantive standpoint, but also just from keeping the morale up. Super helpful. So thank you to the community. Thank you to James Filan, Jeremy Hogan, John Deaton, and everybody else who have pitched in on this effort.